not a total idiot.
But I'm a total idiot.
Yeah, we both are.
Check, check, check. There's a the camera's supposed to actually pan. Oh, there it moved. Hello. Oh, what a mess. Hello. Hello. Maybe the well, there, that's usable. Check, testing. Yeah, I guess. Testing, testing. Yeah, it's got feedback. Can you say something, Jay, into the microphone?
Testing, testing. 4 score.
Yeah, no, so it popped back to all of us, I guess, and then it's popped going over. So it's sort of there, it's got you, okay, sort of working.
4 score and 7 years ago. Our forefathers.
$21,082 square foot home.
How big? 21,000?
And 82, don't forget about
Yeah.
that. That's gonna be what makes the sale.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, at least 18-seat lazy boy theater.
I guess we should just flip these things all around since they're irrelevant.
It's got putting green. It's only 53,900,000.
Where is it?
Los Trancos. It's probably what's his name's, the guy with the ice skating rink.
Vino,
No.
the guy who just passed.
You go up Los Trancos and it's up a hill and it's actually in Palo Alto.
Up by Arrastradero, one of the ones like overlooking there.
No, up off Los Trancos.
Okay.
Oh, it may look over.
Yeah.
Arrastradero, yeah. What was his name? I mean, he actually lived on my street for
Arriaga.
a while. Mapache, while they were building the thing. Who?
Arriaga.
No, a younger guy. He had a bunch of boys. He had 5 boys or something, and he built a hockey rink. I think this is what it is.
Does Vino Tosla live in town?
He lives up on Los Trancos somewhere, yeah.
Who, Kosla?
Yeah.
No, he lives behind Rosati's. Doesn't he?
Okay, I think what's
Across the creek.
I think what's behind Rosati's is property that his daughter has
Oh,
for
his
her
daughter.
horses.
Yeah, that's right. He's got it.
Hey, James. You're muted.
Hi, yeah, I was looking for the mute button.
You can hear me okay?
I can, just
Okay.
no problem at all.
Great. All right. Well, we'll get started in about 5 minutes or so.
Okay, and I've got this share screen control. It looks like I can set up my slides.
You want to just try it right now and just make sure they show?
Yeah. You see that?
Perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, good. Yay.
we have to wait until we have a quorum of members before we can start, and that would be one more person, so.
All right.
Have that before 7 or by 7.
I will try to keep my cat out of the picture. She,
Oh, no, cats are welcome. I mean, that's,
she seems determined to be up here on the counter.
hello?
Okay, now I get it. Yes.
I'm just curious, James, do you see a screen with a bunch of just colored hash marks and stuff?
I do. It says Portola Valley Meeting Room and it looks like modern art.
Yeah, that's this laptop over here, which is, let me just cover the camera. Well, now that, yeah, so I don't know what that is. That's,
Looks like Manhattan.
let me stop that video. There we go.
An area.
That's probably better and less distracting for everybody.
So now I think we'll be better off.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's it going, Ronnie? Pretty good. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And you, Lovey, how's it going?
Me?
You?
I'm in meltdown, but
Oh, no.
I'm hanging on. Yeah, I'm starting.
But you've
back
got your
up.
phone back.
I found my phone, so that's the first start.
Oh, boy.
Is Rebecca coming here or is she gonna do it from home?
She can't do it from home. We're not allowed to do it from home.
Oh,
We
oh,
must be
it's
here.
mandatory now. Huh? Oh, okay, I thought there was a grace period of,
The grace period was last month.
oh, well, I wasn't here, so.
Yeah,
it's
You
not-
lost out on the grace.
Yeah, I bypassed grace.
Yeah.
Scott, somebody. The house with the
Looking at me?
hockey.
Oh, okay.
Scott. somebody.
Oh, yeah. Founder of
Yeah,
Sun Microsystems,
Yeah, yeah,
Scott
yeah.
McNeely.
yes, him, yes.
Okay.
him.
Hello, Anita. Anywhere. Anywhere. Yeah.
You're now a
anything.
commissioner.
How's
My
it going?
synapses are slow, but they finally click.
Credit card got stuck in the gas.
Oh, no.
We're just getting gas on the way.
Oh,
At the,
no.
was it the Shell?
No, it's the Arco by, across from the Shell on, what's that?
Okay.
called? near Wegmans.
Were you able to get it back?
No, so
What?
we spent 10 minutes trying to get it out. The guy came out, couldn't get it out. He said, "You have to come back tomorrow." We said,
You gotta be
"Well,
kidding.
eBay lets you pause the credit card." And Ted was out.
Oh, you mean the card
Actually,
wouldn't come out?
The card, no, it wouldn't. It was, one of those.
It wasn't
No,
stuck
it
halfway or
was-
something,
no,
though.
it was good. I've
That-
never.
That's our
seen that.
third technology fail
Yeah.
story of the evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should have been, it should have been a Wi-Fi.
Oh
but
my
I
gosh.
didn't see it anyway. It's a lesson to use the Wi-Fi thing when you can. Anyway, it's still in there. Okay.
My
But
goodness.
eBay lets you pause. You didn't have to get a new card.
We've just been thinking, we've just been talking, that every one of us, we haven't gotten you, Ronnie, has had some kind of glitch in some kind of electronic technological thing
Yeah.
today.
That's
That
fine. Just, that's not the worst thing. The worst thing is that you're totally in a car and you have to buy a new car. So
Well, that's not
we're
not
quite ready.
electronic.
It's not electronic.
that's mechanical.
Yeah, it's.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, this is, have you been in these seats before? No. Oh my gosh, this
I'm
is,
gonna get that thing you've got around your neck.
My lanyard.
Yes, with your phone on it. That way it won't fall out of my
I
pocket.
did, but I could do it again if you want me to do that right now. Oh, no, we're not supposed, oh, we haven't started the meeting yet. Haha. Haven't started the meeting yet, so. Want me to do that?
Suppose the chairs can be lifted up.
Okay. Agenda, here it comes. Okay, why don't we, we'll call the meeting to order. We've got better than a quorum. We've got every member, every active member of the committee. This is awesome. So we'll just do the roll call. Jay Saleh,
Here.
Ronnie Krasinski,
Here.
Loverine Taylor.
Thank you for saying Loverine.
You're welcome, Loverine. Anita Wotis,
Here.
Rebecca Flynn,
Here.
Scott Elrod, and I'm here. So we're all here. Great. So we'll call the meeting to order and we have a speaker, which we'll get to in just a minute, James. Prior to that, oral communications would apply to us too. Anybody from the community or us, is there anything not on the agenda that you'd like to speak to? No? Okay. In that case, introductions, I think we'll just jump to presentation. So James, really glad to have you here. Brandy was sort of the person who facilitated our connecting with you, and Brandy's out with a bad cold, so she may or may not connect. But anyway, we really look forward to hearing your update. What's that?
I see her on the Zoom or.
Oh,
the
I see.
name.
I guess she just doesn't appear because there's no video. Gotcha. Hi, Brandy. Glad you're here with us. So James, take it away. We'd love.
Hey, Brandy, feel better. Hi, I'm James Talea. I'm with the Home Energy Analytics, and we run the Home Intel program for PG&E. And Home Energy Analytics is the same entity that did a 2011 to 2012 program in Portola Valley and a few other local area places called the High Energy Homes Challenge, sponsored by the CEC and the towns. So this is a long time history with Portola Valley. And we also have to thank Portola Valley, the town, to helping us get things started way back when. And we've been going for over a decade now. The last 6 years almost, we've been running this program across all of PG&E service territory. So we expanded quite a bit. So wanted to give you an update on where we are latest and greatest, as well as talking about how can we help more folks within Portola Valley take advantage of this free program. It's paid for through all of our public purpose program fees that we pay on fees on the PG&E bill. So it doesn't cost anything for people to use it. They're already paying into this pot of money, so might as well use it. There's two places you see links that are special for Portola Valley to sign up and register for the free program. Let me explain a little bit more. So this is a summary slide just to explain overall, it's an energy analysis, energy efficiency and savings program, as well as now an electrification program for helping people plan their home electrification. Because we analyze all gas and electric usage in a home, costs and use, that we have been able to expand what we are able to do to include helping people understand how to electrify their homes away from fossil fuel gas use, if they choose. Of course, there's a climate benefit to that. It's free and it's available to all homeowners and renters. So anybody with a PG&E bill, and one of the new things since about 3 years ago, we have now been able to help solar customers. In the past, we were not able to analyze solar customers, but we now have a method to do that. And we've been helping solar customers. And about 10% of all of our clients have solar on their roofs. Average savings are high, even higher. You see there on the left, for all those that we help across PG&E service territory. And in areas where there are larger homes, the savings are bigger because their bills are bigger. So we analyze energy use, help people understand how to find no and low cost and otherwise cost-effective ways to save. We provide online and live person coaching, and then ongoing tracking of progress to help people understand how they're doing. So it's all about trying to help solve this problem for people that have high bills and or trying to electrify. It's not an easy thing. So how can we help? Fundamentally, what we do overall is help people get energy smart and get control over their energy bills and understand their energy use so that they can then find ways to make the changes that they're looking to make. And we help guide people to find what's most important for them for the biggest savings and or what their priorities are. We do that by taking all the smart meter data, hour by hour electric meter data and monthly, daily gas data, as well as monthly billing data for gas and electric. So we look at everything, and it's all based on the smart meters that were installed many years ago. And this is part of what the smart meters were installed for in the first place, to help people better understand their energy use. So we break down that energy use and cost into different categories to help them figure out what categories look like they're fine and what categories look like they have opportunities to save or do something about. The energy use covers a lot of different things. The house itself, all the stuff in the house, and then the way people interact with the things and the stuff in the house. So behavior. So we break things down into those categories to help people understand and be able to focus on this custom, using this custom method that our system does based on their own data, their own use, their own house, and where they live. We now have added an analysis that looks at all the usage in the last 12 months, similar to PG&E has a rate comparison tool to look back to see if someone should be on a better rate plan to save money. We do the same thing now, and it lines up usually quite well with PG&E's results. Same data, different math, but it's just another way to double check and corroborate what PG&E is saying. And then if we present this to people, like in this case, they could have saved almost $300 by having been on the TOU, a different rate plan instead of the one they've been on. So we help help people with this now. That also helps with the other big new thing that we do is help people to plan to electrify, because we analyze all of people's gas use, water heating and home heating. This example here is in our analysis for electrification on the water heating side, but we do a similar thing for home heating. So someone's furnace or gas boiler. And we're helping them understand how do their carbon emissions get reduced, and also how will their bill change. So in this case, if they switch to a heat pump water heater from their gas water heater at the efficiency level and age that they have, they would save over $200 a year. And that's just really the first year. And also part of this analysis takes advantage of that rate analysis that we do. And we can even tell them when you switch to a heat pump, you should also consider switching to a different rate plan. In this case, the electric vehicle or home charging rate plan, and they would save more. And if they avoid the peak time, which you can do with the flexibility of an electric device, they would actually save almost $400 a year. And this is just based on current rates. A study done for the CPUC projects that gas rates are going to rise about double the increase of per year than electricity. So over the next decade. So over the life of any new device, the economics for the more efficient, cleaner electric device is going to get better and better. So these savings here are just a starting point. Part of that electrification analysis produces what we call the electrification contractor report. There's different parts of that. This is just the water heating analysis piece that can help people understand how, when they convert their gas water heater at a certain level of efficiency that is fundamentally based on age, or if they know the efficiency, they can enter that. We can then tell them if they switch to a heat pump water heater at roughly 350% efficient, which is slightly better than average, then we can tell them, well, how many kilowatt hours do they need to plan for that will be added to their electric bill? This is also useful if someone wants to add solar or go solar, so we can even convert that additional projected electricity use to help people better plan more precisely for how much solar they need to cover the use per year based on their own home's use of hot water in the last year, converting from gas to electric. We also provide tips on how to plan your project, as well as how to operate a heat pump water heater properly so you don't end up with higher operating costs, higher bills. We also, in that contractor report, and we do that not only for water heating, but also the home heating, the furnace conversion to a heat pump HVAC system for heating and cooling. So another very useful thing that can help people save a lot of money and time on some projects is that we take advantage of the fact that we have all the PG&E data that we're analyzing for other reasons. And in the National Electric Code, there's two code compliant ways to tell whether or not someone needs to increase the size, the power capacity of their service panel, the electric panel of their home. And it's actually was thought for quite a while that was a big barrier to electrification. And it turns out that it's not as much of a barrier as thought, because the common way of examining the power capacity of a panel is by a very conservative method that essentially rounds everything up and overestimates what you really need. The optional method is what we're using in helping people understand, based on the maximum power that they used, electricity power, in the last year. This is also code compliant, and it includes a safety factor of an extra 25% and helps people understand how much more power capacity do they have to plan their electrification projects and get from where they are now to where they eventually want to be. And it complements a brand new Peninsula Clean Energy design guide for electrification that also gets into the same discussion. So that's shown here on tip number 1. We provide a link to Peninsula Clean Energy's guide, which is our system is complementary to that. Oh, as I mentioned, electrification and rate plans, being on a time of use rate plan with electric devices is very helpful to lower costs. And we've added a couple of years ago now a section in one of our reports to help people understand how is the time of use, their time of use working. Are they using too much during peak time or partial peak time if they're on the EV rate? So we can help with that and see how that changes over time as well. So all this bottom line is win-win-win for everybody. We get paid by PG&E to help people save energy, and that happens either from saving energy or electrifying properly. That's also an energy savings effort and a climate win. And the residents save energy money and help get some of the really basic information for planning how to electrify their home over time. No matter how long, they want to plan for that, we can provide that foundational step and information and analysis to help them with that. And the town of Portola Valley gets to more contribution to help meet its climate goals. So, yeah.
That's, oh yeah, the first question I had was about participation rate and how that's going now. I mean, you've been at it for a while, and what's the rate of new households signing on and such?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking. So across all of the whole time we've been up and running for over a decade, we've now analyzed over 30,000 homes as of last fall. 20,000 have been in the last 5.5 years or so since we've been doing this for PG&E, in great part because of working with the various towns, counties, cities around the area, and but also because PG&E a couple of years ago started to promote us more aggressively. Next Monday, they're actually sending out 1 million emails to customers over the next 10 days after that, promoting just our program. So they've been doing that for 2-3 years now, and they do that 2 to 4 times a year. But that really helps to be complemented by what can be done in the town. So this is just providing some information about, well, according to the 2020 census, some site I saw, that about 1,700 homes in Portola Valley, and 320 of them we had identified earlier as high energy homes, meaning they have a very high amount, over 500 watts of electricity used every hour of every day at a minimum, which is typically easy to do something about in a cost-effective way, no or low-cost ways to do that. Over the life of all of what we've done, this current PG&E program and that past program, we've helped about 100 homes in Portola Valley, but most of those were actually in that program from a decade ago. We've had 37 new ones since then, and only 29 right now are active in our program with current data and getting assistance from us. Now, some of those in the past already got the assistance and saved a lot of money. Some moved away and so forth, but this is just indicating there's a lot of opportunity. I will, thank Commissioner Krasinski, if I said that right. Sorry, Krasinski.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, good enough. That on the sustainability tips that you put together and published on January 25th, we got 3 new Portola Valley homes that signed up after that.
All right. Yeah, that's 2 of us on the committee, probably.
Yeah, maybe
3 of us on the committee. Well, so, and how does the adoption rate for Portola Valley compare with other geographies in which you're doing this? I mean, is it sort of like less than 1 out of 10? It's more like 1 out of 20. What do you see elsewhere?
Well, we in our time working on this with PG&E, we focused initially on the Bay Area and actually in great part on San Mateo County, where you are, and where I am in Santa Clara County. And so there's actually, I don't have the exact data, but my sense of it from having dealt with this a while would be that Other towns outside of these two counties are at a lower percentage. There's still so much opportunity out there. 30,000 homes across PG&E territory. There's 20 million customers. So there's a lot of homes to help. And so I think generally your town is doing pretty well, but there's no reason why we can't have a lot more there to help. And it doesn't cost anything. We don't sell anything. People are already paying into the funds that help pay for this. And the savings are usually quite good, and it's beneficial to everybody. So we'd be happy to help do more.
What was the marketing that took place for the High Energy Homes Challenge? How'd you do that?
That's a good question. I was not involved back then, so I actually don't know that history. Brandy probably does, but she may not be able to. But there were, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I participated in that. I'm one of those. It was through Actera. Actera just sent out a lot of notes. We put it out on the PV forum.
I mean, if one did an actual glossy brochure mailed to each household, do you think we would get significant response?
Little Valley. Probably not. I mean,
This is Brandy. There is a possibility that we could do something, we could put combined efforts with Green Waste and send something through their bill.
That's top of my list. So bill inserts have worked really well in the past. Not every town or city has the opportunity to use those, but it seemed like a possibility in an earlier discussion I had with Brandy. And we did a program in Mountain View a few years ago. I think it was 2015. So it was after the High Energy Homes one earlier. But we did a bill insert in the Mountain View, and that was really successful. We ended up helping 10% of all residents in Mountain View through that program, and 2/3 of them came as a result of bill inserts. So that, if possible, that has been shown in the past to be very effective with our program or past program iteration. But these are some other ideas that I recall I talked about before with Brandy. I even have some examples of those town postcards that were sent out. If you want to, I think you've done those in the past. I don't know if you still do those, but that was something that's come up in a previous discussion. But I think the ones at the top are probably the highest impact.
PG&E sends out quarterly, I think, a message in an envelope, which has a flyer in it about my personal use compared to a similar home, and then compared to the most.
It's monthly, isn't it? I get that all.
Is it monthly?
Yeah, it's
So,
monthly.
to me, that would be an ideal combination, because I get this and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this information that I'm not very good? That I'm not, my average is higher than the typical average. So it would be ideal to have it combined with that. This is what you can do. You can sign up for free for home energy intel. So that might be something to coordinate with.
Yeah, that is a different program within the same residential program group that we work with. That's done by a company. Well, it's now a subsidiary of Oracle called OPower, and they're the ones that produce all that data and charts on the PG&E website. And that's part of what they call the Home Energy Reports program. So that's a separate program. And we have asked them in the past multiple times about how we can connect through that same mailing and program. PG&E is not willing to do that. So we've barked up that tree before. Now, they have been doing some really incredible email campaigns. They create a website and then point people to it, and they've got an email that they send, and they're doing one starting next week to 1 million customers, and they're going to do that perhaps up to 4 times this year. So as many as roughly 4 million PG&E customers. We haven't been able to have any control over who they send those to. Ideally, would love to send those to Portola Valley, everybody in Portola Valley, but we've inquired about that. And they have other mechanisms they use to decide who they're going to send emails to. So it's not always easy to work with the powers that be at PG&E, but they are doing some tremendous outreach for us and getting the word out. So that is complementary to what anything else we can do.
Maybe it's the same answer, but like I was wondering, PG&E, when I log into my account, they have a link to this home energy checkup tool that is really not very good. And, like, why doesn't that just link to Home Intel, or could Home Intel just kind of be branded as being part of PG&E? I think that's, for a lot of people, they see it as some, website they don't know about, they don't want to interact with it.
Yeah, there is a partner programs webpage on PG&E that we're listed at the top of that among the partner programs, but we haven't been able to get them to talk about our program as the PG&E Home Intel program, but we are able to use, just like I had at the beginning of this slide, we're a approved implementer of PG&E programs. And we can refer to them when we say things, but
I wonder.
We haven't been able to do anything more than what they've had, and they're doing a lot more than they ever used to for us. So
I wonder if they're trying to, keep a level playing field for all the different providers, because, I think O-Power, one could say, is somewhat in competition with you, right? I mean, they're trying to do machine learning analysis of smart meter data to figure out what appliances are running and all that. So it's not maybe direct competition, but it's similar. And so maybe PG&E just doesn't want to endorse one versus the other.
yeah, it's another program in their program set. They PG&E gets a lot of energy savings from that, but it's a much smaller amount per customer, but a higher volume. So it's been really successful for them over the years because it's all done electronically. We have energy coaches that can provide personal assistance over the phone, email, and sometimes we'll even visit homes. And I've been to a few homes in Portola Valley. We can do that. But that other program doesn't add that extra layer, and that is an extra cost. So each of our programs have certain capabilities, and so they offer theirs and ours, and some people like what they do and some people prefer what we do. One of the things about the way that the O-Power programs and the home energy reports work is that they look at things from a whole house level. And when they send out how you compare with similar homes, they're only comparing at the whole house level with 100 nearby homes with whether or not someone has gas or electric heating and roughly the same size. We actually break the category, break things down and compare how someone is doing by category, and we define similar homes differently depending on the category. So our always on gas or regular daily use of gas, which is mostly water heating, we're making comparisons based on the number of people in a home, as opposed to our winter heating, home heating category is based on square footage and location. So we are much better at our home comparisons. PG&E's O-Power program doesn't even take into account whether or not someone has an electric vehicle. So we get a lot of people coming to us says, I don't understand this mailing I got from PG&E that says I'm out of whack with similar homes. And I tell them, actually, you're doing fine in this, and this is where you need to go, and this is what you need to work on. So that's at least getting people's attention, but then we can provide more customized, fine-tuned assistance and more personal assistance. It's a different kind of thing.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm beginning to get the lie of the land here now. I thought I thought you were PG&E, but you're not, obviously. You interface with them. How do you get your funding? Where's your funding come from for your coaches and people like that?
Yeah, so I did work for PG&E and Energy Efficiency Department for about 7.5 years until I started working for Home Energy Analytics, HEA. And so we have a contract to run this program for PG&E. Most of PG&E's programs are run by other companies. Our program funding comes just like most other programs, including BayREN's program, also gets the same source of funding. It all comes from the public purpose program fee on the PG&E side of the bill that everybody pays, along with a whole bunch of other fees that you see in this fine print on your bill. It's a few dollars a month that go into this public purpose program fee. So we're all paying into this big pot of money that at the statewide level is roughly $2 billion. And it's divided up over commercial, industrial programs, residential programs, energy efficiency, demand response, electric vehicle programs. So it gets divided up and it's used all across the state, but that's where the money comes from. And it all boils down to the reason we're doing this is that it's cheaper to save energy than to build a new power plant.
So if you, I mean, of the things that you have listed on this slide, it sounds like you would put bill inserts, you did put it at the top of the list, but in terms of potential impact, if our committee was to take on one thing and try to help do that, bill inserts would be it. Is that correct?
That would be that. Yeah. If I had to pick one request, it'd be that one.
Okay. All right. So that's great. I think we're going to have to move on just because we have a bunch of other topics. This has been really interesting, James. Really appreciate your time today. And if you could send me, well, the whole meeting is recorded and that'll be available to residents of Portola Valley. But if you could send me or I have the slides, it's okay to put the slides up on the town website. Is that true?
Yes, it is. These are,
Okay.
Please share.
Yeah, great. Okay.
All
Any
right,
other
thank-
last questions? Okay, thanks very much. Really appreciate that.
Thank you. Look forward to helping more of the town residents.
Yeah, great. Next up on the agenda is and you're welcome to stay with us, James, but if you take off, we'll understand. Got other things to do probably, but
Have to make dinner.
yeah, okay, yes. Okay, thanks. So approval of minutes. Are there any suggested corrections to the minutes? Yes,
I'd
Lovey.
like to be known as Loverine in minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You would? Okay. How would you like to, can we call you Lovey?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
but in
official
minutes? Okay,
I'd like my real name.
gotcha. All right, so we can make that change to the current minutes. Any other corrections? All right, so assuming we make that change, is there a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
I so move.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's everybody. Sounds good. Okay, we're moving on to old business. Brandy has a voice challenge. Brandy, do you want to speak or do you want me to just summarize what you sent by email? Brandy dropped off. Brandy is gone. Okay, so I'm gonna summarize what Brandy's told me. It's we're here. Well, we still have, yeah, right, everyone's gone. It's just us chickens. Ronnie is connected as a separate person, so we can pretend that we have one external member of the meeting. But anyway, okay, so let me find what Brandy said. Brandy said she really doesn't have any updates for today. She did ping Cal Water and hasn't heard back, but she's going to escalate her level of inquiry with them. The climate action
I could
plan.
actually-
What's that?
I could comment on that.
Oh, yeah.
So I got one of those flyers from Cal Water and I called the person and they told me that, well, first they said I can keep the flume. I have a flume. They said I could keep it if I want. And then they told me that they were going to change out all of the meters regardless, and they said that at first that they thought the flume would not work with the new ones, and now they think that they will work, but we think that's not right. And so Brandy was following up on that.
Okay.
Do you know any more about it, or?
I got a flyer too saying they were ready to install, but that was like a month ago.
Oh,
Nothing has happened.
I vaguely remember interacting and correcting, letting, what's her name?
Dawn?
Letting Dawn know that her person is giving people out the wrong information. And so she was gonna make sure that whoever you spoke to had the correct information. So they told you the wrong.
I mean, it sounded like they're actually planning to do the wrong thing, which would be worse than the wrong information.
No, it's definitely the girl, the woman, whoever's answering the phone is not informed properly. So
Okay.
Dawn now
Wow.
knows this, and Dawn has said she was gonna tell the woman the correct information. So hopefully, I'm not gonna- I feel like
The
I
left
should put
hand
a,
is going to talk to the right
I
hand.
feel like I need to put a sign in my mail, in my box, you know, waterproof sign saying, do not move this.
You
Do
need
not
like a
change this."
lock.
Wow, they don't see, yeah, this is,
But Dawn seemed to know that what the correct information is. I don't know why her person is not trained properly.
okay. And so the Brandy getting in touch with them is related to what happened with you, basically?
Yeah, I sent a note on that to
Oh,
Rebecca and
okay.
Brandy,
Yeah.
and she said she was gonna follow up.
Great, okay. All right, great. The climate action plan, it's going to be moved to a later council meeting sometime later in the spring. So they're going to run that by the council first, and then they would bring it to us after that to help refine it, I guess. The idea.
That's like a draft of it, or?
Yeah, I think they've got, well, they did a bunch of data analysis of, energy use and emissions. And so, and then they've wrapped that into a first draft, I guess, and that was going to be shared with the council. They just, I guess they want to share it with council first and then come to us after that. So it's going to be delayed a bit. Okay. That is it from Brandy. Next is the public service announcement. So I guess the most recent public service announcement would be the induction heater loaner, right? That
What one was? I'm sorry, I didn't
the
hear that.
induction cooktop,
Oh, yeah.
right? That was the one you did, Anita.
But you're looking at me, but you're looking at
No, I'm looking at you.
Yes, but
It's a tough
I didn't
setup.
put it out. but-
You didn't put it out, but
Yes.
you put it together. We put it together. We put it together and we put it out. So it's out. So
It's
that's
out.
good. Okay, so I guess, we're gonna declare that we've done one for February and we're gonna do the next one for March. Does that seem right? Yeah. Okay. So I think we've cycled through everybody on the committee. I think we've all had our chance to put something out. And so that would suggest that we cycle back to the beginning. And I think the beginning was probably Rebecca on water. And I don't know, do you think water is a topic right now? Or do you think,
No.
I think with the rains, we ought to wait on water until there's more,
We do
I
the
think
home
it could be, I
intel.
think a refrain I hear all the time is that, oh, well, we don't need to worry about that anymore, and if it's still something somebody wanted to write about, then it's certainly something that I
Our reservoirs
think
are
people-
not anywhere near full enough.
Yeah, I wasn't
people do still
suggesting-
need to be reminded that that's not how drought is cured by 3 weeks of rain.
just wonder whether the time might be more ripe, in another few months, but
April or
yeah,
something.
we definitely want to be on that message still, but.
Yeah, but I agree that this is, it'll sound a little weird, I think, if we start talking about
Saving
conserving water now, with people still have sandbags out like me.
Yeah, we need some dryness in their experience, I think,
After a month of no rain, then we can go and say, see, the drought is back.
I mean, you could, this is something, goes along with this WELO thing too. We could, focus on saying, this is the time to think about the rain and the runoff from your property. And did you have areas where you could have had catch basins or rain gardens or swales or, a way to slow it, sink it, save it, that, that aspect of it,
Yeah.
you know, because I know a lot of people for the first time, you know, newbies here, you know, were surprised. They maybe lived here for 5, 6, 7 years and suddenly water was coming into places that they never thought of before.
Mhm.
So,
Well, so if are we, does it make sense to just sort of go back to the beginning in terms of the sequence of who's doing something? And Rebecca, would you be willing to do the next one? And we have, there are some topics that are, there are some topics that you've said we should do, like why go electric? That's a big one.
Okay, okay.
Why go electric would be, I mean, that would be a great one, I think. And it seems like,
Yep.
well,
I've
if
been
she doesn't
collecting
want to do it
articles.
right away, I want that heat pump thing. That article on heat pumps
yes,
explained. I
yes,
thought it was just so cool.
yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see that one go on. It explained
I mean, we
what a
don't
heat
have to be
pump is
limited
for
to
any
just one.
idiot who,
We could,
We don't have to be limited but to just one,
no, we could,
especially
do-
if it's one that doesn't involve major write-up.
no,
Would
it's
you-
just a
would
link
you-
to an article that's terrific, I
Is
think,
it- is
about
it-
explaining how a heat pump works.
is it really just a matter of putting it out and just saying this is a fantastic article about heat
Yes,
pumps?
if you want to know
Okay.
how a heat pump works,
We-
read this article.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, there's not, that we could do that. That's easy. So
Yeah, it's
should
an
we-
easy one. I'll send it to you, okay?
Okay, great.
yeah, so let's just do that.
Yeah,
Let's do
and but
that.
it's just, it's got diagrams and, I mean, it's just, it's from a real cool magazine called Knowledge.
Okay,
Do you, I mean, why go electric is a big one. Do you want to, we could maybe.
I can start working on
We
it.
could work on it.
I
So-
can do,
A couple of
some
us
of
could
that
work on
too.
it together. Yeah.
like, I'll do cars. Maybe,
How to start
Or-
your new car?
right. Yeah. Okay. You want to split up something like that where different aspects of it, or?
I mean, I could I've been looking at articles more internal for like the house and the cooktop and the heat and just the dangers of gas in the house and that sort of thing.
So the only question I would have is just based on our, based on Lovey's reading of that book and the impact that had on the way we were trying to sort of pitch these more as, well, I did this and here's how you can try this. And is how would, I mean, somebody who has electrified their house, you haven't done that,
I'm looking into doing it.
looking into doing it.
Because my hot water heater is supposedly on its way out, so I have to. That's good, though. We have a 3-year-old one that we can't get rid of. Oh, mine's 7 years old and it's backfiring. You ever heard of this? Oh, it's backfiring. So like every hour, there's this like explosion coming out my roof. We're like trying to figure out what it is.
For
The
your
plumber told
hot
me it's
water heater?
backfiring. Yes.
You're getting a backfire from
That's
Like
what
a
he
made-up
called it,
thing.
a back. I'm like, is this dangerous? Is my house gonna explode?
Wow.
Yes, I mean, that sounds like yes.
What I said. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Well,
really fun.
I guess-
Whole house shakes.
Why go electric? To me, like the one that I wrote up was trying to come at it from a science angle, kind of educating people about tipping points and things like that, and saying, oh, I learned something I didn't understand, and that leads me to make these different decisions. And I think why go electric is all about number one, one is money for some people, like we just talked about. You can save a few $100 a year, but it's really the science of the efficiency, and whether that's gasoline or natural gas or heating oil, whatever it is, it's the molecular efficiency, and so if you were to break it up between the house and cars, it's still kind of the same stuff, which is that you're just getting more bang for your buck, so to speak. And so in that respect, then it's somewhat redundant, to do
Mhm,
more than one on why go electric.
mhm.
Well, I mean, I also view it as a toxin, indoor air pollution issue.
Yeah,
That, to
that's a
me,
good
is what's
point.
The most important for me.
And it's financing something that people don't want to finance, right? Yeah, there's the natural gas. Yeah, that's so I take it back.
But the angle of, one of us having direct experience of it and writing from that viewpoint, as in, I did this, I mean, the fact that you're thinking about doing it would be, I would think, a good angle.
Yeah, leading into it. And here's what you found so
I-
far.
Yeah.
I
guess
did
You
that-
don't have to have done
You
it.
did it, right?
Yeah.
You did it
Sort of,
and you're
other
thinking
than
about it.
The only thing we didn't do is the stove, which I know you did do.
So, yeah, so I think, sounds like the two of you could write something from that vantage point.
When I buy my heat pump, not hair dryer, clothes dryer, I'll do it then, but I'm not ready to buy it
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, and I was gonna do a heat pump furnace, but it's not gonna be for a while. so-
Yeah. That's
Did you get information about doing that? You were talking to Emilico, right?
Oh, yeah, I did,
Did you do some
not
type
so
of a
much,
virtual?
not so much. No, I was thinking about having them do the whole house, kind of the whole house plan. And I just didn't, I just felt like maybe didn't need their services for that. And,
Did you fail the test? Or of the,
Air blower test
yeah.
or something?
yeah, a new test.
well, did you fail the first time?
So, well, what do you mean by fail? Define fail.
Yeah. Not succeed.
Yeah, so we have 30% loss of air from the ductwork, which I would say is a big fail because that's directly
Yeah.
30% of the money just going out the drain, down the drain. And then the leak rate of the house was twice what it could be. And so that's another, so it's like, yeah, we were losing 2/3 of the
Yeah.
energy.
So I told you guys about our heat pump. We failed miserably. And that it was so funny that if you fail by a little bit, you don't get the permit. If you fail by a lot, they say, you're in so much trouble, we're just going to pass you. Which is what they did for us because we fail by such a large margin that they don't expect us to actually fix it to obtain the permit. They say, we're so sorry.
Oh, this is like having a
here's
car, like an old car and,
Yeah,
and you know,
yes.
you only have
There's
to
no
spend
help for us.
$200 to try to make it
Yeah.
better.
And as I've said before, the heat pump heater doesn't pump this piping hot air, it pumps warm air.
Mhm.
And so if you're losing 30% or Lord knows what I'm losing, it just doesn't heat the house effectively.
Yeah.
Ours is, as I told Rebecca, we talked about it, ours is on all the time.
Oh.
And so, and because we have this unique situation because of the architecture of our house where it's going to cost a boatload of money to fix the ducting and the insulation, and everything, which that's a goal. But we wish we knew this before we put the heat pump in because now it's not adequate. Those days in the summer, when it was very hot,
Information.
just
though.
didn't do it. So, and I can't say scientifically that I know that might be the issue with yours, but I would be concerned about it because I
So
think
what
that's
is
what's
the
going on.
test? That-
They seal off your ducts, they seal off your door, and they blow a known
High pressure.
current of
pressure.
air in, and then they see how that affects the pressure in your house. And
Smoke or something to actually visualize it, or how do they measure the loss in pressure?
I have no idea.
They're like pumping the air in and sucking it out and just through that.
It's
see
the difference
how
in
much-
pressure that they.
Yeah,
determine
they're
that's
measuring,
loss.
they're
How much
measuring the
goes into this
pressure
one?
change as a
Okay.
result of
I
a
just
certain.
wondered if, I've
person
heard where
who
you
does
can
the
Flow
take
rate.
a smoke kind of thing and you can see where it's
I
coming
was
through
told that
the
it's not legal
vents or the.
anymore.
That's more for tracing,
Finding out.
specific places where there are
This is
leaks.
just a whole,
This is like, what's the
structure.
whole structure give you or what's all the
tent
ductwork
it like
give you?
a termite thing and
No, it's just a
just
a
seal all the openings.
Front
close all,
door.
yeah, seal the door,
And then all the registers and the
seal the
returns.
registers.
They seal like the vents, the stacks from the toilet and stuff.
They do
Oh,
not.
No.
I guess you wouldn't, that's not. you're not
There's two
bringing
different
that,
things. There's the duct test where it's just,
Just
you
your
know,
duct-
just
okay,
the
your heating
registers
system.
and stuff like that. And then there's a whole thing where they attach a fan to your door and just see how much leaks out.
Hmm.
So, but the vents you have in your ceiling. or
That's
the
just
roof.
part of your leakage. They don't seal it. They don't seal anything when they do that.
Okay.
I mean, close your windows.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what, you don't have any insulation in your walls or something?
We are on a hill, so the bottom of the house is exposed to just the open air, and the insulation is just stuffed in there. And then all the utilities are below that. So
Crawl
Ah, so
space?
there's no crawl space. I mean, it's as high as this in some
You
parts.
can like walk underneath
Oh, yeah.
your house.
Yeah. And so you have wood, subfloor insulation, And mixed in with all this is the pipes and the electricity and the rodents. And so they can get in there and then,
Up in your joists, essentially.
correct. So they can get up in there very easily, especially when it rains. And
You
then,
can't just seal off the joists with plywood and.
but if you seal it off, then A, you've made a beautiful home for the rodents, and B, you've sealed off your utilities. So what you need to do is either seal in the whole thing, like the whole underside of our house, make it a basement, which is a tremendous job, or you need to take all these utilities out, put in spray insulation that can't get eaten and lived in, and then put the utilities back, a foot lower than they were. So it's one.
You don't want your utilities outside of, especially like a duct work. You don't want that outside of conditions.
Well, you just get better ducting. You pay for the kind of solid stuff.
Ideally, is you have your ductwork in conditioned space.
Agree. But that would mean basically building another house under our house it's enclosing it.
To enclose your rafters with wood.
But
and
you,
insulation, obviously.
but you have to make everything accessible to do that.
Yeah, you can't
yeah.
nail it
Yeah.
all up with plywood because then all your junction boxes and everything are buried in.
Yeah. All the wires,
Yes, they use
all the
that for
plumbing.
access, for all the plumbing and everything, so.
Well, our house was built in 57, 50, and no insulation whatsoever.
I don't want to monopolize our time with my
So,
problems.
so do we feel like we've got
Enough ideas.
enough of an idea?
Are you
Um,
gonna do next month or not? Or do you want if you want the heat pump thing, I'll send it to you. You can put it
I'll
in.
go
whenever
We
ahead
should
you
just
want.
do that immediately.
I'll
There's
just
no,
send that
that's a easy one.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, for next month, does that seem tractable?
Rebecca, do you want to do indoor stuff that you just mentioned you were researching, and I'll do cars?
Yeah,
The following
that
month.
sounds fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So yours could be WIGO Electric Part 1 and mine will be Part 2.
yeah, we could do 2 months worth.
I will say that the forum has become quite a place for sustainability things, and not just our committee. Other people I've noticed have stepped up and put things on there,
Mm,
which I think is great. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a presence of sustainability on the forum.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Okay, all right.
We have a member of the public.
Oh, yeah, Dave Cardinal. Dave Cardinal joined us. Hello, Dave. So I'll try to, do you have any questions or comments, Dave? If so, you can raise the hand icon and we'll give you a chance to interject that. So next up is the En-ROADS Simulation Community Workshop. That's gonna be interesting. That's February 23rd, next week, next Thursday. I'm not sure, so preparation for that. I think we concluded we would have refreshments, which would be simple, like juice and water and cookies or something. I'm gonna be going there early to work on setting up with Carrie, the town communication person. Anybody want to sign up to bring some refreshments?
That's not the one I already signed up for, right? That was a different event.
Did you?
'Cause I don't know that I can.
Did the Thursday one? Yeah, okay, okay.
So if I did sign up, I'm happy to make cookies ahead of time and give them to you, but I don't think I can.
You might have said you could do that, but you don't need to do, I mean, we
I'm
could,
happy to make the cookies. and tell
Oh,
you what
really?
they're all- Sure.
wow, okay. Homemade cookies, that sounds awesome.
Wow, okay, cookies for Thursday.
Cookies for Thursday.
Except you need to let me know where to drop them. if I can.
Okay, I'll be planning to meet Steve Levin there at the community hall at 5 to sort of get things set up.
Drop them somewhere before 5, I think. but
Okay,
yeah.
like my house, or I could pick them up from you or something. Okay, so that would be great. Okay. And then we just need water and juice, I guess. So,
Can we do BYO mug cup kind of thing?
Please, and then pictures of water,
we
Is that
could
what
do
you
that.
mean?
Yeah.
without water bottle.
Yeah, okay, as a sustainability committee, yeah, that, I was picturing this flat from Costco plastic bottles. I guess that's not, no, okay, all right, so,
I mean, is there a
Um,
coffee maker there in the back, that you could make an urn of coffee?
well, there may be, but we didn't go there. We just didn't have the
Pitchers for water.
pitchers
in
for
the-
water.
in the kitchen. Is it gonna be in the? Yeah.
It's gonna be in the community hall. Well, I'll check with Carrie to see if there are water pitchers. So if there are water pitchers and then cups.
Our events are gonna have a reputation as the least fun,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Homemade cookies, are you?
I mean, I'm
kidding?
sorry, with the exception of the cookie. So we're gonna have to double down on the cookies. I'll talk to my wife.
Okay, so, and then I don't know, in terms of attendance, what do we imagine? 20 people, maybe?
Did I see the ad for it said, bring your computer? So
It said
could-
you can bring your computer if you'd
okay.
like to be able to,
I think
so
that's a great idea.
yeah. So, okay, I
They
think,
wanna play around with some
I
of
think
the
if we had
parameters.
cookies for 20-ish people, it's probably enough, don't you think?
Kinds.
Two kinds.
What kind of cookies are you making?
I, chocolate chip are easy for me with pecans, but I can make.
Okay.
For bread.
If my wife's able to do that, I can't make cookies.
If she would rather
But if
make
she's
chocolate chip,
able, then it would be
what?
chocolate chip, but I don't know if she's able.
Okay, you have my email.
Uh,
Like chocolate chip unless she wants to make. it.
I mean, more chocolate chip cookies
It's always
is
good.
fine, right? Okay,
Mine will have nothing.
So I will. check
Ours will
on
be
water
vegan.
Pitchers
There you
and
go.
cups.
fantastic.
Okay. That's awesome.
Oh, I want gluten-free.
Sorry.
Who all among us is going to this event?
What's
Yeah.
this?
This is the next Thursday, the climate simulation.
What was the question?
Who's going? Okay, so, all right.
Are people not from Portola Valley able to attend?
Yes, they are. We actually passed along the news of this event to our colleagues in Woodside, and they were going to try to push it out into the Woodside community. So, but yeah, anybody who's interested, for
I think I
sure.
saw it tweeted.
What's that?
I think I saw it tweeted. I can't remember if it was from the town or maybe that, I think the Almanac retweeted it or something.
And then Oprah got it, didn't she? And didn't she retweet it? Okay. Okay, so is there, can you think of anything else that we have to be prepared for in that meeting?
Set up chairs, I guess, and then
Carrie Shin is gonna be doing,
Oh, we'll
the
handle
town
that.
people are gonna be setting up all the,
chairs
stuff.
and the audiovisual
yeah,
stuff.
they're gonna do all that, sound system and all that. So I did have to navigate with Steve about how much time on the sort of what you can do, and he agreed that 15 minutes would be right. He would like to, he's gonna have a sign-up sheet so that anybody who wants to connect with his organization specifically can choose to sign up, but it's not gonna be, we're not gonna take attendance and give their organization the attendance list. It'll be by self-selection.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I think this is an opportunity with all these cookies to sneak in various non-dairy milks. Remember plan?
Mine doesn't have, oh, you mean to drink?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we did at the,
Oh,
Yeah, remember that got shut down by the law?
town.
that's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I'm happy to purchase
Oh, no.
several, yeah.
I have a coconut milk that I just got in the mail.
Rebecca's old coconut milk will make an appearance.
Milk variations, milk
Yeah.
and cookies.
All right, I'm
So.
I'm gonna do
that's
it.
Awesome.
oat, almond, coconut, soy.
Oh,
What's wrong with soy?
nothing, like it's got a muscle cramp in my leg.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna have all those milks and water. So we won't have juice, no juice, right?
But you know what? I'll bring some mugs. I'll just bring some mugs from home that
I'll bring mugs.
that
Oh, no,
people
I
can
won't.
use it because people aren't gonna.
I won't be allowed to.
Gonna bring
mugs. What's
There
that?
is one, yeah.
Do we know how
Okay.
to run it?
I can bring one.
I'll just.
There's a drought.
Yeah.
I said, don't you know there's a drought?
Okay, so if,
Dishwasher is more
if,
efficient, right?
if those of us who can bring mugs do so, that would be great.
I have a bunch of these little glasses, they're about this big. That would be perfect.
Do we need napkins and things, or are there paper towels over there, et cetera?
Paper towels.
I will ask Carrie about napkins or there's probably paper towels, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, it's hard to do sustainability and live up to your reputation.
Mhm.
It's not-
Brown paper.
Yeah,
Say I have a bunch of paper, little
some
tiny
brown,
paper
rough
cups,
brown paper,
but-
like paper, how about paper bags?
Not that rough. Rougher, I guess.
Okay, this is good.
They don't have, the kitchen isn't stocked.
I don't know. I was,
Okay, I don't
I'm
know.
gonna ask Carrie.
Actually, you said what, 20 people?
That was a guess. I just
Okay.
guessed.
I have out in my garage a set of 1940s coffee cups that are the heavy duty kind you got in
That really thick-
diners.
Yeah, that. thick
Yeah, I
ceramic,
have
yeah.
a ton of them.
You could just donate them to the town.
I don't want to, they're
Oh,
cool.
you- I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
keep them, but I'll bring them if you want me to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We want to make sure we don't have too many mugs, so.
Only 20 people.
yeah, I'll bring 20, I'll bring 20 mugs.
Mugs, does
How's
that
that?
work?
Yeah, so you're doing all the mugs.
You're the mug person.
You're gonna do all the mugs?
I'm gonna do 20.
Well, for 20 people, that'd be one mug per person.
That would work. Assuming there aren't more than 20 people, but I can't imagine that we're gonna get.
I'll bring some backup mugs.
Okay, you bring
Okay.
some backups, I'll bring 20. How's
All right,
that?
we need to
That's right.
document this carefully.
Two
We have
different varieties of
mugs
mugs.
and backup mugs. Okay. Dave Cardinal, I'm just gonna wait and see if you raise your hand at any point, in which case I'll let you chime in if you want to have, if you have anything to say about mugs and, you're on mute.
Sure, I will, although I don't have 20 mugs, so I can't be too helpful on that score.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you.
Are you coming to the event?
Are you gonna come to the event?
Oh, I'm kind of like climate change modeled out, but I'm a thumbs up.
Oh, okay, great. That's great. Okay, preparing for the Fire Prevention Resource Day on April 22nd. So this is the one that we've been invited to join. It's gonna have a big turnout. It's gonna be probably 400 people. So it's a chance to have a table where a lot of people come by. So what do we want to, and so we'll have a table and we could staff that with one or two of us. What do we want the table to be?
Do we want to have our emergency thing with the battery backup? That is one thing. Can you get that from the library?
That's a good idea.
And then I think we need something with the drought. After what? But
So April 22nd. Okay, so this would be in a fire, well, so but this is about fire preparedness, right? So the battery backup being something one would want to have in the event of fire or in event of power shutdowns related
shutdown,
to fire conditions, I guess. Do we want to, Lovey, I'm wondering about your books on climate change, whether we, are there must be many of them that draw connections between climate change and drought and fire.
Yeah, I can look through the list. I mean, the last time we did something with the books, I went to the library had got them all in for me and we took them out and brought them over, but I can't say that a lot of people looked at them.
Yeah,
And I even made a list of the 10 best and I ended up giving, going out into the audience and giving them away because nobody came by for it. I
Mhm.
mean, it's,
but there'll be a lot more people if
yeah, 400 people, that's a lot.
compared to like what the amount, I mean, I don't even think we had 15 that came by at our table at the picnic.
Yeah, it was pathetic.
I think it'll be better. So, but what message do we want? people
yeah,
to
what
take
what
away?
is the message we want
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sustainability at this event? That's the
I mean, there's this tremendous link between climate change and more fire, more drought, more extreme storms, but
Let's have a couple beavers.
People,
how do we get people to,
people know that though, don't they? I mean, I think.
well, yes, they know that.
They do and they don't.
But
Yeah.
but what
What-
kind of actions do we want people to take? What can they do to reduce greenhouse gas emissions?
Yeah, I mean, it's the
Okay.
same message.
I'm not seeing a
Wait,
connection here. A very
was
good
it-
one, a very strong one, to tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, the greenhouse gas emissions affect things at a global scale.
No, I mean that, yes.
No,
but
no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
a way to sort of visualize it, some kind of, you know.
I'm with you though, but it's a, you know, local thing affects the global situation, which then affects the local situation. Yeah, it's hard to, I'm not sure what angle
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
the
It doesn't
angle's
have
hard.
to be an angle. It can be just like, we're there talking about our thing.
Yeah,
And people should understand at this point that the reason we're
They're
there
re-
is that
they're
this connection,
related.
we don't have to, kind of spell it out for everybody.
yeah,
Isn't it Earth Day too?
it is Earth Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just say Happy Earth Day. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be that. Does it have to be connected to wildfire? I don't know.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, it is connected to wildfire and everybody will appreciate the connection. So maybe that makes sense just to have it be our
then-
message.
But in an ideal situation, we're giving them a message that has them take some action.
So I think for that event, was that where we had talked about giving away something like maybe the energy monitoring devices? Thought we had-
We had,
What kind of energy monitor? Oh, you were talking about that little one from.
Yeah, either just the smart plug monitor or the one that connects to your smart meter.
Smart plug.
and that would
smart-
be.
The first one's like $10 and the other one's like 40, I think.
And so we could only give away a reasonably small number of them, or would we be giving them away to anybody who stops at our table who's interested in them?
Up to the first 25 or something.
Yeah, we'll have to,
I wouldn't give away a $40 item.
I mean, there is a budget, so we
Yeah, I was
could,
gonna say, we got a budget.
we could say, we'd like to spend,
It doesn't have to be those either. If there's other
yeah,
What is the name of that company that does the little
Emporia.
Emporium?
EM or IM
EM.
Emporia.
Yeah, and I mean, I like their smart plugs as well.
And there's $25 devices?
The smart plugs
Probably
would be about 10. And the other one's about 40, and that's the one that connects to the smart meter and
Hmm,
View Smart Home Energy Monitor.
well, smart plugs sound like a good one, and I mean, we could have 20 of those is $200, we could have 40 of those, and you know, probably.
I guess they're energy monitoring smart plugs. So, you know, they do the on and off stuff, but then also tell you like how much power it's using.
Yeah, make sure you get the ones that actually work with the power sensors, because some of the smart plugs, the cheaper ones, don't all work with the power monitoring apps.
This one works
the
with
what?
Google, Alexa.
Well, for turning on and off, sure, but not all of them. The good ones, actually, you can monitor their power usage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
So our Alexa's piping in.
Because you said Alexa.
What is that?
Yeah.
Alexa, turn off Dave Cardinal's lights.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, she said, okay, that's very exciting. Thanks. Oh, she's giving me instructions on how to turn on and off the lights.
Funny.
I could share.
The other thing I would think about for the fire day might be the extent that sustainable materials are more fire resistant or fireproof. That would be something to market as well, or showcase as well.
Mm-hmm.
You mean building materials?
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna be there figuring out how to harden their homes and this and that. And a lot of them are kind of like, oh, this is a bummer. I gotta spend a lot more money on this other thing instead of wood or whatever it is. But to the extent that this other thing is actually more sustainable, that's a benefit.
Yeah, if in fact, the things that one might use for hardening are more sustainable as materials, I'm not sure that's true, but
Well, bummer if it's not.
yeah. Okay, well, we could go, okay, so we could go with the smart plug as a sort of a way to attract people and give them something for spending the time with us. We could just be there and talking about our topic. Posters, books, any other kind of collateral, or not so much? What do you think? We had the posters from the picnic.
I don't think we should overwhelm. We do have still have a bunch of those cards where you choose 10 things to do to save greenhouse gas emissions. So we do have those.
Ones that we used at the picnic.
In
a couple
my-
years ago.
In my limited experience at the booth a few times, people have come up and often had a question or concern that they want to talk to somebody who they think knows more than they do. And that's why they come, and the other stuff is kind of icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we should just keep it simple and
Maybe, I mean, something to at least like advertise who we are.
yeah, we need don't we have a
I
banner?
can't find it. I could
Missing for a
swear
year.
I brought it.
I don't think it came, it was the year before.
I
2 years ago. it had-
don't remember me giving it to somebody. Nobody took it for some other
No,
thing.
so maybe we need to have
searched
have
my
another
house
one
and I
made or
can't
something,
find,
so we
yeah.
can, we'll get a banner going. Okay, we'll have the banner, we'll have us, we'll have, if Lovey, if there are a few books that seem right on topic with,
We have Lovey's cards too, book cards. Might as well have them there too.
yeah, that's a good thing.
What's this?
Your cards
Cards.
with the list of books.
Your books.
Oh, I gave them back to the library, I think. I turned them back in to somebody, either the town or the library. I'll check to see if anybody's got them anywhere.
I don't know. I'll check all the stuff I still have. sitting in my
Who made the template for that? It was somebody at the town, wasn't it? Gary, probably. Okay, I'll check with her to see if she still got the template. And I'll try update it with more fire and climate change connection,
Okay.
like beavers in wetlands.
Love it.
I keep sending Lovey TikToks with beavers.
Aren't they cute? Oh God, I want a beaver.
Someone had a beaver in their house and it was going around creating a dam with all this stuff.
Kids' toys. They were taking all the kids' toys, bringing them and.
Are you
putting them in a
serious?
doorway to make a dam. I mean,
my
they're
gosh.
beaver.
really
They're really
It
working
does.
in your house. I'm sorry. There's too much dragging
I want
stuff.
one too. I want one too. That's right. Beaver nanny.
All right, so I guess we'll check in with, we're gonna go with the Emporia smart plugs? Sounds like a good thing to do. Do you,
Says April
35.
22nd.
$35 for a box of 4 at Amazon.
okay.
There are,
Can you email me that link and then I'll just ask, I'll ask Brandy to make the purchase. And how many do we want to have? There are 400 people potentially this thing. We want to have like 50 of those things,
Wow.
Giveaway.
$500.
Well,
Yeah, I
young
mean,
people.
To your booth.
yeah, presumably those people that we give them to are gonna, we're not.
I mean, is there a way to demonstrate how they work though? You know, I'm a little lost. What are they? You plug them into a regular outlet and then like that. Can we do it? Can we have a demo one?
If you have the
Yeah.
battery there from the library,
Yeah,
I think we ought to have a demo one.
All
Is
right,
that, you
why
know,
don't
if
we,
you-
why don't we have,
Plug a light into it and then just attach it to your, like your app and then just say, turn on the light or whatever.
Well, no, you can also see how much power is being used and like show the graph,
Oh.
second by second. Well, it'll need to connect to the Wi-Fi, but that should work.
connect to the Wi-Fi on like a laptop?
No, the
in
the
town center.
community center Wi-Fi.
Oh,
That's how, you need to like install it.
I
and that's
see.
how you
It
get
is
the read.
Wi-Fi connected to the cloud and then you are talking in.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, we are gonna be indoors or outdoors when this thing?
200 people, we're gonna be outdoors.
No, most
Last-
of the tables were indoors
Okay.
last time, except for a few that were outdoors.
And there's probably Wi-Fi, town Wi-Fi anyway. Okay. That sounds like something we want to try out, doesn't it, beforehand?
Yeah. What do you mean? Before even deciding to get them to give away? Or?
No, not necessarily, but just to know whether it, you know,
You
we,
need to have it show.
Yeah, I can try that out sometime between.
okay. Okay, so how many of these do we want to get? What is a reasonable amount to spend on this in terms of?
How much do we have?
250, I would say.
$250 worth.
300.
Okay, all
Do
right.
I hear 400?
All right, so, yeah, if you could send me the link, I'll just ask Brandy to buy a bunch of them and we'll have them. You have some already at home?
Yeah,
You can,
I'm not giving them away.
no, you can. For your test purposes.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
don't need any of the new ones. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, maybe does that feel good in terms of a plan for the, and we're gonna have cookies there too? No, for 400 cookies for 400?
400.
No.
A lot of bakers.
Okay,
You need pencils that say, save whatever, save the planet or something.
brainstorming of potential new devices for the loaner program. So, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the one that you've been looking into, the
Lumi or something.
the composting thing,
Oh,
the composting
I
thing.
love my Lomi. I
Yeah,
got a Lomi, and it's about this big. It's like a bread box. It's not as small as they, but, yeah, you put organics in. If you want to enrich your garden, you avoid putting in meats in the bioplastics to the load. There's a load that takes 20 hours, you put the stuff in there and the next day it's finished. And if you've done everything right and have all the good stuff and the not so great stuff in it, you can compost your garden with it. Mix it with soil. I have not yet composted our garden because it's been too cold and wet.
So it's about yay big, and what do you get? What, like a gallon or
put it-
something?
The bucket is about, like a gallon.
A gallon plant thing, yeah,
bucket,
okay.
Like this. It's a
And how
steel
long does it
bucket.
take you to get enough compost to get a gallon? With how many, 2 people?
So if you fill up this bucket, you're supposed to not fill it more than 2/3 or 3/4 full, you get about that much. It reduces it down to really nice, rich looking compost about that much of it.
To grind it up or something.
It heats it and dries it, and there are charcoal filters that you have to change every.
No
so many
worms in
use
there,
of
though.
that. No worms.
No
No,
worms.
so you can put lemon peels in because with the worm composting, you're not supposed to do
Right.
citrus, right? You can put lemon peels, eggshells. It's a stuff that I would have given green waste in a nice, bio bag and
mhm.
can't anymore. And like I was saying in my email, I just don't trust that green waste is doing anything with our,
Yeah, they're not.
our food waste. How can they possibly do anything with coffee grounds? I mean, really. So anyway, I put.
They're
coffee
sending them
grounds
over
in.
to Z Beth.
They say, I would still, I haven't finished watching.
Mhm.
Because I did miss the session last summer. We were on vacation. anyway, I really do like Halloumi. If there's another mode where it's an express mode and it only takes 5 hours. And in that mode, you can put a
When
few
you
of those.
desperately need
Well,
compost.
no, when you want to get rid of it. The one thing I don't understand is they say in that mode, the compost, I guess you can call it, that it produces, you're not supposed to put in your garden. And they say to throw it away with your organic waste trash. And I don't know how you actually do that without putting it in yet another bag, even if it's a biodegradable bag.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I asked the question, can we just, throw it somewhere? And they said no.
Hmm.
The company, loan company said, no, you have to trash it. And I just don't know the difference, but. anyway.
You have to trash what?
So there's a mode where you can put in meat, scraps, not
Oh,
bones,
oh.
not bones, but you can put in meat scraps and those biodegradable trash bags.
Yeah.
little
Hmm.
ones, and you can put a few of those in, and there's a couple other things. It says it takes the compostable cutlery, which we don't have, so I've not tried it. It seems weird. Anyway, when you've made the compost with that stuff in it
Yeah.
and made it in that mode, you're not supposed to use that for plants.
Hmm.
And they say to not even put it in a garden, in a yard, and I don't understand that. It's gonna go in
Bring all the
somebody's yard.
raccoons.
I think it's an issue of animals. It can attract animals.
Yeah, you'll bring the
And-
raccoons.
And it,
Pathogens and pathogens.
Well, pathogens,
yeah.
But wait,
what
you're
I
saying that
figured.
it heats it up. That's the whole
It
idea,
kills
isn't it? It's supposed to
everything,
kill.
Except in that mode, it kills everything. In the mode where you're making nice, great compost, it doesn't kill everything. That's why it takes 20 hours to do. It
Oh.
takes longer. But in the, yes, but anyway, I like my.
So there was somebody, there was a little bit of exchange on PV forum about it and.
Yeah, Ted said there was, I'm still not reading on the TV forum.
And yeah, but there were a number of people who were supportive of us thinking about it
Yeah.
and as a potential loaner at the library. But there was
Uh-huh.
one person who wrote to me, Dale, somebody whose last name, I can't think of their last name, but who said, yes, it'd be worth looking at, but they imagine that the energy consumption associated with that thing is high and
We'll have to measure it.
yeah,
it's 100 watts.
100 watts.
Yeah. And then it's different. I'm reading about it now.
Okay.
Because I started doing a lot of life cycle assessment for my job.
Mhm.
Apparently it's 150, according to one study, it's 150 pounds of carbon, the footprint of building it. And then from there, you have to look at the electricity versus what you sequester with
Mhm.
creating the compost.
Mhm.
Whereas, and if you're here, then your electricity can essentially be zero, so then you just have to make up for the 150 pounds. So then you would need to do 150 pounds of compost to get to, assuming that it's mostly carbon,
Take us a while.
to get
It's
to
gonna
net
take a
zero,
while,
and then
yeah.
you'd be. So it's probably closer to 200 or 300 pounds to get to zero.
Of output in order to just balance the production impact of the thing, being the device.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's not true, because if you send this stuff in the landfill, then it becomes methane,
I was
right?
gonna say,
And
isn't
so,
that better
um,
than?
yeah,
organic
so I
waste?
think it becomes a much more complex calculation. And then there's the idea of just using it for your garden and does one sustainable practice beget additional sustainable practices? The answer is probably yes, So I don't think it's as simple as.
Yeah, the person who wrote me said they were worried that it would, maybe it uses a kilowatt and it's not like that.
Well, listen, the real answer is everybody in this town wants to solve climate change with tech,
Mhm.
right? And not by going and living in a yurt. You don't see a lot of yurts in this town. And so this is an example of that. It's the same as everything
We
else.
don't want a compost bin. We don't have room for a compost. bin,
Well,
and
well,
that
sure.
would-
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not, but I'm not talking about, but I'm saying this is going to be an attractive thing in this town because it's tech.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For the loaner, like how messy is it? Does it work to bring it back and forth to the library?
Oh,
Are they
good
gonna want
point.
it?
Good point.
The bucket, so we have ours out in the garage. They don't recommend that, but I don't think they understand California. It's not, the temperature swings aren't that bad, although they have been pretty bad. So I take the bucket out in the, I have it running in the garage, and when it's done to empty it, I actually do take it out and bring it to the kitchen to put it inside something else, and it has to be rinsed. So it's not, you can't just make another load.
So we could just tell people to do that, I guess.
Yeah, and
But-
then.
But it can be, the whole thing could be cleaned up sufficiently before being brought back to the library that it wouldn't smell or.
Yeah, they would have to, they can even run it in the dishwasher, they say,
The-
the
oh.
bucket
Okay.
can be run in the dishwasher. The unit itself, I mean, it shouldn't get messy, but
Hmm.
people.
Throwing their banana peel from across the room. Okay.
Do that with the
So is that
library.
a loaner program?
It was one possibility, yeah, yeah. Does it strike you as something that would be a good item for that program?
Yeah, somebody would have to monitor it a little bit, but there's carbon that goes into 2 filter containers. And that lasts 3 months.
Is that just for odors, to absorb
No, that's
odors?
actually what, I don't know I don't know the chemistry of how it actually breaks down the organics and makes the compost.
But usually carbon filters are just for odor.
Yeah, this is not only for.
I mean, this is supposed to be in the house, right?
Right.
So I'm
Which is
guessing,
not, there is no odor.
yeah, well,
it's
I'm
a- it's
guessing the
pretty
carbon
amazing,
is
yeah.
probably
There's a
an
little bit of
absorb-
noise.
adsorbent for odors.
And there's heat, which is actually a good thing if it's in your house in the
How,
winter.
how much is it on? Is it on all the time?
When it's running constantly, but it's just, for the grow mode, where you're making garden compost, it's on for about 20 hours and then it's done.
Okay.
And then you 5 days later.
And you get compost in 20 hours?
Yeah. I know.
Pretty cool.
A giant autoclave.
It's like you see the green burials in Washington State where you can get composted
Yeah, I've heard of it.
and they'll put you in
In a
what
loaner?
sounds like a
We
big
don't get
loamy.
that as a loaner at the
yeah.
library.
And it's like I think it's a month or 40 days.
Yeah.
And then you get a cubic yard of compost back. Not you.
That much?
Well, it's,
That's a lot.
they
It's
mix,
normally-
they mix you with a lot of other things.
You're lucky.
So people show up with their,
Hey, let's get back to this.
Wait.
I gotta go to bed soon.
Okay. All right. Well,
Anyway, I
that
can
sounds fun. So
Bring it. I can bring it if you want, but it's
Oh,
not actually that one.
I think it'd be great if you
You
could
want me
bring
to
it,
bring it
bring it
next
to our next meeting, yeah, just so we could all check it out. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can all bring a banana peel and,
You can bring some things and what does it
Well,
cost?
500, but you can get them on sale for 450. But then there are deals where that you can also get a extra set of carbon. But the carbon has a cost that was greater than I knew. The carbon stuff that you
Uh-huh.
refill, yeah, is.
And you have to buy their
$50. I said,
filters. You can't just go buy
$50.
carbon.
But we
at
have
the
to
drugstore.
continually-
You actually fill it.
So it's a-
you're gonna have to do that on an
For carbon.
ongoing basis
Right,
Yeah.
you get
for
Yeah.
the loaner program.
whoever our designated loamy person is.
Just grind up some
Granules, it's, I'll bring some of the
it's
carbon.
activated charcoal.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
activated charcoal.
Yes.
Well, we could do that. That would mean one of us would probably have to go in and recharge the unit, every few
It
months.
would need to be maintained, yeah.
I mean, I guess, okay, so let's see, what time is it? It's 8:30, so we've been at this an hour and a half. I don't think we have that much more on the agenda.
The other thing we had talked about was a bicycle. right?
Bicycle?
Or
Yeah, I think the
something.
purpose of right now would be just to talk through some possibilities and, get people's sense of whether it's a good one to pursue or not.
So Switch Bike sent me a promotion last, couple of weeks ago. And it was about $650, $700.
Mhm.
And I guess what it is you have this battery pack that fits on the top front of any bicycle, your bicycle, and they also send you a special wheel to switch out your wheel. It wouldn't work so well.
How
for
does that work
sharing.
though? Yeah, but how does different bikes have different hubs and all
So
that?
yeah, so somehow you tell them what size your
Mm.
wheel is, and then they send you the wheel
Mm,
and the other electronics for run the bicycle, and then you just.
That sounds
Check it
difficult
out, but it
because
doesn't
Then you're
sound-
relying on all the community members to do it correctly and everything. comes back
install
and
it
working
correctly and
And
not
somebody
get
gets in an
injured.
accident.
Yeah.
covered with
Because they
grease.
didn't screw a screw in right.
Well, in
Yeah.
our situation, if we were to do something like that, we would just have to provide the bicycle too. That would
So I
be
think,
all
I mean,
on-
we're- I
have
think
a
we're really
bicycle.
talking about providing e-bikes if we were gonna do that, which is a big deal. That's,
Well, an e-bike is more like $2,000 versus this sort of thing would be 1,000 if you had to provide a bike.
hmm. Do we think the sustainability impact of people adopting that is potentially high enough that it's worth thinking about? I mean,
I think it's probably lower than some of the other things we talked about. I think in this town, I think a lot of people know about. I think people know more about e-bikes than they do about composting.
mhm. Yeah,
And I think that there's more to gain in something like compost, just my opinion.
Yeah, and I had the thought before, I mean, if people want to explore e-bikes, they would go to a bike store and try out different ones.
Yeah. yeah, yeah. Then you had an idea about some of the power monitoring kinds of things, and what did you, so I'd be interested to hear some thoughts around so it turns out the library actually had a kit of stuff that one could take home, maybe you know about this, but that included some things for monitoring energy, some things for plugging up leaks and, outlets and things like that. I mean, sounds like, sounds interesting. And then I think
Do they still have it? Did we ever figure that out?
I don't believe they are still offering that, right? So,
Are you sure?
It's not, I go to the library practically every day and it's not advertised heavily if they have it.
It was like a little box,
Yeah, I
kit
know,
with-
but
with
you
the
I
mon-
think-
Like the induction
Test
king,
your
they have a
watch.
sign and stuff, that they have it. I have not seen
I think, yeah,
anything
Garrett
that,
wasn't.
like you're describing.
He wasn't sure that it
You'd
was
have to ask
still
for it.
available. So that's a question, I guess. But then there was separately, I think there was some discussion, maybe Jay, you chimed in with the thought, seems like a lot of stuff and a lot of activity, a lot of work and a lot of stuff. And so, but in the category of sort of do-it-yourself energy auditing or repairs or any kinds of, is there anything that fits in that category for this loaner?
If there's something that to make it like an activity for kids, I thought that would be interesting.
Mm.
Like for kids to, investigate power usage in their house or something like that.
I wonder if there is such a thing.
Well, I think it would just be these devices. and
I
just
see,
like
I
some kind of
see. We
worksheet
would-
that
Yeah,
with
I
it.
see. That would give them the guidance about how to set it up and help their family figure out their energy use.
Yeah, like a
Okay.
little science project.
I think that's a wonderful point that I haven't heard any of us talk about since I've been here, which is that getting to kids, which isn't necessarily going to change the carbon footprint of the town, but it, potentially changes the future.
Mhm.
I think it's a great point.
The future and like if, the kids bug their parents about the energy use, like might make the parents more likely to do something.
Great.
Does
yeah.
the library already have something like a kilowatt that they can rent out or loan out?
Well, that's what we were talking about. They did used to have a kit that had a kilowatt in it.
Yeah.
All right, but just the kilowatt itself. I don't know. I'm not sure what else was in the kit, but those are pretty handy.
That's a energy monitoring device.
Yeah, and the only thing is you have to plug something into it. So it doesn't work for things that are hardwired. But they're great for anything you can plug in. You can set it to say, start now and come back a day later and see whatever it is consumed and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they're not real expensive.
Ronnie, based on your experience, what do you think oriented toward kids, what would be an interesting, what is the right kind of device or?
Well, I think, I don't know, that that type of device, I mean, actually, I think the energy monitoring smart plugs that we were talking about
Mhm,
are probably better than the kilowatt.
mhm.
But yeah, it's just a matter of finding material to go with it. I actually had the idea from, I was looking around and I think there's some library in Maine had something like that. With, yeah, so they had some worksheet. I looked at it, wasn't super impressed by it, but
Mhm.
maybe either that or looking around at other stuff or trying to cobble it together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Other ideas for what a loaner program might include that we haven't talked about? Flume.
A wash, a wash.
A washboard.
A loaner wash.
Clothesline.
A clothesline. Hey, now that's a good idea. A
A
clothesline.
clothesline.
A clothesline and
Yes.
clothespins.
And clothespins.
When you don't need.
Yep.
A
One of
kit.
those.
And you get those ones that you pull it out and you
Yeah.
take it back in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And,
Or the
Yeah.
umbrella carrier.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Clothesline.
Uh-huh, okay, there you go. Okay, so for the composting, you're gonna bring it in next time, we're gonna check it out. And then somebody's thinking about the life cycle, you're thinking about the life cycle part? Is that, you know,
You want me to look into it?
I think we need to look, given that somebody raised it as an issue, yeah. Yeah, we need to look at it.
I just started taking a course this week with one of the world leaders in
Oh.
recycling
Oh.
and medicine.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited about it.
okay.
LCA.
Okay, let's see. I think we're down to one item left, which is WELO. So where are we?
Where are we with
Yeah,
WELO?
when do we start working on our side in order to be ready to give the staff inputs, and how's that gonna work?
I assume last meeting I wasn't here, so I don't know. Did you discuss WELO?
No.
Well, all right. So I had some questions after reading over the notes I made when I met with Laura and a whole bunch of people in the, okay. You mind if I take 2 minutes and ask them here and get some feedback from you guys?
Go for it.
All right, the housing element thing. The changes, is that going to impact the design guidelines of the town or the municipal code? Was that brought up in any of the housing element discussion? An amendment to the design guidelines or the municipal code? Is that part of it?
Yeah, I think
Right.
that's, yeah, I
The
think
general plan, yeah.
it
Okay.
does.
Now, as
Have
I
that
understand it,
impact.
we didn't get passed. We were one of the majority of communities that didn't make the cut. I think 5
Make the
people.
deadline.
Didn't make
Yeah.
the deadline, yeah.
So the biggest thing is that if we change WELO, the WELO depends a lot on what the guidelines are, the design guidelines and the municipal code. Those are the important rules that the ASCC has to go by, or when they judge developments or alterations, renovations, blah, blah, blah. So I guess I kind of need to get an update on where that is. I mean, we need to get an update on that before we start discussing how we might tweak WELO, I guess.
Is it that?
Just for some background, I don't, and I'm only a few thousand pages into it, see anything that would change the design guidelines or the municipal code in general. The biggest issue would be that we might have more multi-unit structures or higher density housing than we've had before, and we don't necessarily have design guidelines for those things other than what we've already passed. But it's not really about changing design guidelines per se. I mean, it's about fire safety and density and zoning. So if that helps.
Yeah, I would, thank
Yeah, I
you,
don't-
Dave. I think that's right. I think the Wheelo update is somewhat independent of the housing. It is independent of the housing element. And if there's a Wheelo update, it would apply to housing that's created, you know, as part of the RENA targets, as part of other housing. So we don't need to be waiting for something. I don't think.
Okay, all right.
Was your point though that in order to enact it, we need to get the Wheelo into our codes?
What's this?
I think part of what you're saying is in order for like ASCC to start recommending and enforcing it, it needs to be in our codes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rules you have to follow.
Right.
You know, when you're judging a project, you have to go to the design guidelines and or the municipal code. That's your guidance
And
areas.
is it,
So
I
what-
don't know the status. It's not currently
And
there.
Wheelo. So,
It is
if, you know, I just wanted to make sure that there weren't going to be any
There's-
major changes to those things that would affect. Okay, that's
Mhm.
fine.
I don't think so.
One of the things that was suggested by Laura, everybody who's Laura is, the planning commissioner or the planning director, planning and building director, was that we talked to landscape architects and irrigation specialists and realtors to get a feel for how homeowners, you know, what they want, what they'll settle for, what, what they're looking for, kind of to get a feel for that the clientele,
Mhm.
you know, what they'll stand for. I mean, if we ban lawns, turf, if we put that into a Wheelo, no turf, you know, will there be a giant uprising from the clientele, that kind of thing. So just to get the lie of the land, she suggested that we talk to realtors, landscape architects, and the irrigation people. So I've kind of made a list of some of those from the 10 of the big projects that came in, that they sent me,
Mhm.
you know, to look over the plans, which are like 40, 50 pages long. But all I care about is who was the landscape architect and who was the irrigation guy. And I can make a list of those. And then we can kind of, you know, decide whether we want to talk to someone. We can talk to local realtors easily. That's an easy thing to do.
So we're still trying to figure out what to propose to be adopted. I'm still confused, like what is currently
Okay, so
adopted
I don't know,
versus.
I sent this in September, October, or whatever. But Wheelo is the water efficiency landscape ordinance. And it was passed in 2010 and it was updated in 2016 the last time. Okay, it's to have water efficient landscaping. It covers irrigation systems. And they're can be temporary, except they're never temporary. They always keep them. They never take them out, which is a problem. It determines square footage of turf that you can have. The question is it, anyway, there's ways that landscape architects and irrigation people kind of get around the sizing of things.
So it's an existing
purpose of the
ordinance. It's an ordinance that's in force. It has loopholes or, you know, weak places where people can get away with having much more water use than perhaps they should. And I think the idea was that we would work closely with the town staff to help come up with a proposal for how to tighten it up.
Yeah.
That would then get enacted or adopted by the town council, and it would become the new version of Wheelo. And so, but I think Laura's point sounds like a good one. It also sounds like a huge amount of work.
Oh, it
And
is.
so,
It's huge.
well, who is doing this huge amount of work? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do, you know, we're all gonna have to jump in if I think, in some way. I mean, it is, I mean, yeah, but the point is, there are certain, there are glaring gaps. For instance, water features, pools, spas, they're not even covered by Willow. You could put in an Olympic pool.
I think,
What-
oh, sorry. Go ahead. But I think we're gonna have to have a, like a subgroup, which is gonna, where the people in the subgroup are willing to devote tens of hours to,
Yep, if we want to do this. right,
tens
we're
of
gonna have to-
hours,
We're gonna have to pick just a couple, 2 or 3 things maybe to make it impact.
right? And then you're,
not
maybe,
massively change it.
and then if there's gonna be engaging of those constituents, stakeholders, then it's just a lot of hours of time. And so I think the question is the person, is that committee Lovey Taylor only, or is that committee, right? Lovey Taylor doesn't think so, and I think
Loverine,
that's,
Loverine.
Loverine Taylor
What
does
about
not
her?
believe
No,
that
I can
she,
be lovey in conversations. It's loverine in the.
so is there, I mean, I think if there's
No.
nobody else from
We
our
need to
committee,
Decide how we're gonna.
there's nobody
attack
else from our
this.
committee who's willing to sign up and as a partner with Lovey on this, then this isn't happening because it's just too much work. It's a lot of work. Somebody's got to be passionate about it and really want to dig into the rules and come up with new proposals and then go talk to people about whether it's viable. And so I think that's what you're painting. The picture you're painting is it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
And so, and I think we were at that point of
A lot of technical
discussion.
work too.
6 months ago, we were asking this, saying the same thing. It's a lot of work. And
Yeah.
so who is going to do the work? And if there's somebody who wants to do that or some couple people, then I think we've got a project. If not, then I'm not sure there's a project here for our committee.
That's, we
Seems
have
like
to
it's a
decide.
pretty long-term project, though.
What's
It
this?
seems like it's gonna need to be a long-term project
Doesn't,
because.
yeah.
Because.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen in a year.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna
because
pass something in
Planning
2023.
is overwhelmed right now with the housing element. They're gonna be dealing with the whole sunset thing for the next really 2 years, you know. The housing element sunset thing, we're trying to get a certain number of homes built, accessory units or homes built within 2 years, you know, before we evaluate the Ford Field thing. To me, they are just gonna be overwhelmed with, they're not gonna be able to take on. a
Well, that's
new
what Laura
project
said,
with
that the planning department cannot devote any resources to this until the middle of 2023.
Middle of 2023.
I don't
Okay.
even
I
think
thought that was I remember from before that, I mean, the agenda item was like when to engage with them, and I thought that that was our plan. So like, I remember May or mid
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
But then at that time, is the idea that town staff would be working on this, or
Yeah, but
just that they're at that point open to receive?
yes.
Provide
input
data.
from us?
They're open to receiving ideas, I think. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
you know, mulching around, if you will, and pouring out a small amount of, you know, but we have to decide. And I don't know, I can send this back out again, and if, you know, you want to reread it, maybe you've
Have
forgotten.
I should have.
To me, there's like 2 main things that we could probably tackle was the water features and the lawns, how that's calculated for lawns.
Well, yes, or even, would you like to consider banning lawns?
I don't think it's viable
Okay, but
yet.
I would say the third one has to come in there. This thing called temporary irrigation.
Temporary
That's
irrigation,
a
yeah.
real bogus thing. It's never temporary. They never rip out these, and they, you know, I've been to these places. I've walked around and seen them. They're there afterwards. They never rip them out of the ground. They stay.
But I think with the way climate change is happening, I don't think we're gonna actually have the luxury anymore of, even if you put in very drought resistant plants, they're not really 100% drought resistant
No,
because they make the assumption that we have rain from November to March that's deep into the ground, that's in our clay soil, so that then these plants, these drought resistant plants can then call on this water that's down in the table. And it's not happening anymore.
no,
So
no.
therefore you do still now need to give some water throughout the year, nowhere near what a normal plant would take. So in a sense, it's become unrealistic to say
Yeah,
you're gonna have to rip this
Exactly.
out.
It doesn't
So-
match. You know, the Wheelo ordinance as stated now does not match the current climate conditions.
Okay, so, okay, I think we probably want to try to come to a close soon. So do we need somebody else, or more than one, somebody else have to partner with Lovey to do this. And so I don't hear anybody coming forward right now, but maybe people want to think about it. And I just don't see us doing anything with this unless there is such,
So
you
there
know,
were, there were sections that need to be updated or fixed. is what I'm
Fixed, I
hearing,
mean,
like 3.
Yeah,
Size of
well, it was in
lawns.
here. I gave 8. This is Laura, you know, how they get around things, native areas, okay? People, you know, put what they call a wildflower garden in as a native area, and it ends up being mostly grass, you know, that needs watered, things like this. I mean, most of this came from Al Sills, who's was on the ASCC committee, and, you know, was frustrated by the way that the system was gamed. You know, it's not written tight enough.
So it needs to be tightened up.
It needs to be tightened up. And according to Laura, she actually used the word.
so let's,
the
we need
carrot
to,
and the stick.
let's pop out to the high level.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but,
No, I was gonna say, it sounds like just a plan to fix the easy stuff that's already in the.
I think that's right, but the easy stuff is a whole bunch of complex
the easy
calculations,
stuff
so.
is not.
So
Yeah,
the
the
easy
easy stuff
stuff
is not easy.
requires
Oh,
some
hanging fruit
real
and stuff.
attention by a couple people, and then,
Okay.
you know, testing it. I think testing it out with landscape people and potential homeowners and all that. So
There's a big
It's-
political.
it's-
big
it's
political
not,
aspect.
it's not going to be
hot potato.
easy, and it requires a lot of
Okay.
scratching of heads and
I
thinking.
mean, this
So,
might be something to deal with in the next fiscal year in July, right? We switch over. I don't see anything happening between now and July, to be honest. So
Definitely not.
To me, it would be part of next.
Except sort of getting more comfortable with the terminologies and the problems and, you know, just, you know, doing
Well-
some homework.
Why can't the town hire somebody to do this?
Yeah, it's this town has no money these days. We're kind of in a deficit these days.
It's called the
Do you want to see the
allowable.
taxes that I pay?
Yeah,
And
that's-
where does it go?
Look, that's coming.
Every one of those things can be fudged.
I mean, I think it's a good
And the
point, though. is-
lawsuits, The information requests, that's where the money's going.
Yeah.
So, well, we could, I mean, maybe it's worth engaging Brandy and Laura Russell about, you know, who can do the legwork.
But there's this is probably some aspect of reinventing the wheel. This has been done in some town somewhere. There's
Yes.
probably some blueprint for what's a reasonable square footage of lawn
Mhm.
in a town where the houses have this much land and in a drought-stricken area.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure this has been done.
Mhm.
We should be
I'd say
Finding
Portola
something else
Valley
to
is
adopt.
pretty advanced when it comes to this. If you look at the Wheelo, you're pretty limited with what kind of lawn, how much lawn you can put in there.
Okay.
And people are gaming it by either putting in a bunch of desert plants, so
Yeah.
then therefore they're able to calculate this square footage of
Yeah.
needs no water, so therefore I can have more lawn.
Yeah.
But we
Or
already
you
have in
get,
there-
I mean, or there's somebody, yes, maybe we're a pioneer in this respect, but I'm sure there's somebody with expertise for whom this is a 2-hour thing versus for us, this is a 100-hour thing.
Versus what?
For us, this is several dozen hours.
It's possible.
Yes, but, you know, it would take, I'd like to sit down with a landscape architect who would be willing to, you know, spill the beans.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. There's somebody out there who's a landscape architect, town planner, and has a law degree, and is a former real estate agent who does this, this person exists.
Okay, well, I think a conversation with Brandy and Laura about how this work would actually get done would be useful. I mean,
We need a path. We need a, you know,
Well,
I think it's worth doing. I mean, because we're still going to be in a drought, and I think we need help in picking our battles,
I-
the areas where we can change things, tighten things up and make a significant difference
Mhm.
to present to the town council as possible ways to amend it.
I think another aspect of what I was saying before about having somebody else do it, we're gonna have blind spots because none of us is an expert in this area.
Yeah.
And this is an example of people without expertise making regulations and laws, which I think most people don't like.
Yeah.
And there's certainly the potential to just do it wrong, even though we all have the best intentions. And so I really feel like this is an area where a professional would be
Mhm.
helpful.
Yeah. No, it sounds right.
Well, yeah, I know part of WELO is that you have, for new people who put in new landscape, and you have to actually hire an irrigation specialist to come in and evaluate to make sure that the gardener, the landscaper actually installed each fixture properly and each emitter properly, and what you said was in the plan is in there. And that's like a $2,000 little charge to get that person to certify it. So there are people that have this expertise, for sure, and not inexpensive.
And those, and when you pay, and I mean, the reality is, that we've all been in a situation, when you pay that person the $2,000, they're like, check. You know what I mean? You pass, congratulations. You know what I mean? Versus if the town pays that person $10,000, you know, then that becomes on that person's expertise is now on the side of climate and not on the side of the paying customer who just wants their permit.
Okay, maybe we need to draw that one to a close. And then I guess the only thing is to just ask whether there are topics for next time that won't be obvious continuations of, current topics.
I have my ongoing battle with green waste about where they put my garbage. I just had another series of phone calls, and I am trying to get a tour of their facilities.
Oh,
If you do that, you invite us.
Oh, no, it's gonna be date night with me and my wife. But if anybody else wants to come,
I'm sorry.
if anyone wants to crash
date
or
night.
But I tried to, I called them as a customer, and then they just absolutely give me the runaround and they don't care. And then I try to leverage my position.
Excellent. Okay.
And that didn't seem to do anything.
Oh,
And so, but maybe we can discuss steps forward for getting us into the inner workings of the green waste empire.
yes. Okay.
Ted has been wanting to
Yeah.
get in there.
Yeah. All of us get some balaclavas and
You're seeing them put the garbage in the wrong.
everything goes in the same place. Now, I know I've researched this extensively.
Yes.
That the one that picks it up and puts it over the top, they can hit a button where there's a flap that goes over, and so the next bin goes in here and the next bin goes in here, right? Whereas when it's a rear loading truck, everything just goes in the same spot, and it's,
You have a
there's
rear
some rear loading
loading?
trucks that are split left to right, none of which I have ever seen in this
Oh.
town. When it is a rear loading truck, everything just goes in.
You know what you have to do? You have to get inside.
Put a
Get
series
on
of
top.
homing devices in my garbage. But, and the women, every time they assure me on the phone, they assure me that I'm crazy. Oh, there are multiple videos from my home between me. Every Friday mornings, I work early and my wife doesn't. And I love you. Have a great day. See if you can get a video of the garbage. And I'm half joking, but I'm half serious. And about half the time she gets a video.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that'll be on the agenda next time. Anything else? Anything else? All right, is there a move does somebody move to adjourn? You said.
Second.
Okay, everybody in favor of adjourning? Aye. All right, meeting's adjourned.
This is fun.
9:00. Well, Ted is convinced that even the ones that go over, that they're putting everything in the same. And we call and they say, no.
The woman tells me, oh, we have a sorting facility. I'm like, why am I?